The public hates AI art, but these art figures love it. Why? As traditional artists in the age of AI, it's important to keep up with the zeitgeist and not let ourselves be surprised by a sudden turn of events. In this video, I'll quickly review the most important recent news, and then I'll talk about an interesting trend in the way important people respond to AI as opposed to the general public. Lastly, I'll conclude about why the right take on AI art is far from the take you see people in the public eye espousing. So first, let's get into the first part of the news, which is that most of the general public just hates AI art, and most artists who have jobs or have ambitions in art also hate it. So, for instance, we might cite the Toys R Us commercial that everyone was creeped out by, and that was pretty much a failure. And there was that McDonald's drive-through thing where they tried to have a fully automatic chatbot for the drive-through, and it went completely wrong, and they had to cancel it as soon as it came out. There was the chatbot from Air Canada that gave false information, and that led to legal drama. There was the Amazon thing where there were some books being sold on Kindle that were AI generated and attributed to the wrong authors, to actual real authors. There was Sports Illustrated, which published AI written articles under fake author names, and this went completely wrong, and people started hating Sports Illustrated. So it seems like anytime companies try to roll out AI stuff, people just give massive backlash, and these companies have to backtrack. So people just hate AI, and this isn't just in the West. In Eastern, like for instance, Korea, you could take the example of K-pop. In K-pop, there's huge pressure to perform quickly, with some groups almost releasing like 2 albums a year, as opposed to like one album every few years in the West. There's huge hype, huge marketing, and it's like, to me, it's the pinnacle of industrial art. But even there, people are pissed about the use of AI. Some groups that use AI have gotten huge backlash because fans are always given the illusion that it is their idols who are making the music and coming up with the visuals and the choreography, etc. And with AI, that illusion is broken, and they feel less appeal towards the group. That's just something that makes sense. And so a lot of emotional pushback has happened on social media. Another case we may, cite of AI use going completely wrong and causing companies to cancel the things that they were doing. There's a guy called Francesco Mattina who used generative artificial intelligence in at least parts of some of the covers that he made for like DC comic books. And when this was found out, DC actually canceled the order that they made from Francesco Machina. So there's just heaps upon heaps of examples of this happening. And I think it's fair to say that the general public kind of hates AI. And it's also important to say that there are still bills and laws being proposed to kind of push back on AI. Recently in the US, the AI-focused Copied Act was proposed, which attempts to make removing digital watermarks illegal, which obviously would be of great help to those artists who feel cheated by AI models and want to protect their intellectual property. But we're going to see that even though the general public hates AI, there's some people who really do not share this opinion, and they feel kind of the opposite. By the way, if you guys have any more info, any more news, any more like AI drama that you want to share with me and help us move forward in our struggle against AI, I'd be really grateful. This has always been the point of this channel, to join forces in our attempts to maintain the value of our art as traditional artists. So there's this overall high-level people don't seem to be as worried about AI. For instance, we have the Lion King director who's recently interviewed by the Curious Refuge people. Curious Refuge is like a AI filmmaking course selling group. So the Disney guy, the Lion King director, said that you can create these sort of incredible scenes, or what looked like they are scenes or moments, and he knows how you would normally do this. Like, he knows what it takes to do this, and the fact that you can do it by just saying, give me something, and it comes out with something that's kind of stunning is incredible. Another thing he said is, when he was asked the questions of how efficiency improving harms the creative process, he answered, it doesn't. Making movies is very expensive, and the expense is the thing that weighs it down to some extent. And he says, part of what's going on in the motion picture business right now and in the theatrical business is there's a lot of sameness that has crept into the production and into films. And they say, well, let's make another Marvel movie. Let's make another one of these. Let's make another Mission Impossible. He continues by saying, His hope is that AI will actually lead to a kind of renaissance of creativity, that if AI lowers the cost, it allows filmmakers and storytellers to do things that are unconventional, you know, that are not just designed or geared towards that commercial audience. And he has something he says at the end of that interview that I pretty much agree with, even though it doesn't solve the problem at all, which is what we're trying to do on this channel. He says, as the world evolves, artists have to evolve with it. The only way to become extinct as artists is just to say, you know what, I'm going to fold my hands across my chest and refuse to move to the future. So that was the Lion King director's take on AI art, and specifically AI video. There's another high level person who's commented recently on AI. It's the Netflix co CEO, Ted Sarandos. He said, there's a lot of filmmakers and a lot of producers experimenting with AI today. They're super excited about how useful it can be of a tool. I think AI is going to generate a great set of creator tools, a great way for creators to tell better stories. And he said the business case for generative AI isn't to reduce costs, but to improve the quality of storytelling. Now, obviously, this is the CEO of Netflix talking, so this is just corporate talk, right? But he is a high level person, and as we might have guessed, he's pretty enthusiastic about AI. Now, there's more like artists, famous artists like Luke Fiasco. They've also been pretty enthusiastic about AI. A while ago, the famous rapper, just to remind you who he is, he made The Show Goes On, that rap song. He partnered up with Google to make a peculiar AI tool that's supposed to give you all sorts of clever ideas for writing music or really writing anything, like looking at a concept different ways, giving you rhymes, giving you alliterations, etc. I found the tool to be pretty weird and strange, and I don't think many people are actually using it. Another celebrity who's been big into AI is Grimes, who's been giving fans permission to use her voice in AI-generated songs on the condition that the royalties be split 50% if the song is successful, which is a savvy business move. And she's also formed her own AI girl group called NPC. I don't think this group has been very successful, but yeah, this is just yet another high-level person who's very enthusiastic about AI. Now, I ran you through all these news, and you might be seeing a pattern here. Just consuming information, our brains begin to gain clarity on the situations that we're in. So this that we're doing today, just looking at news and beginning to frame them in a certain way and understanding a pattern about reality, is a great example of how gathering information is the root of all insights. If we want to safeguard our future against AI, we have to become insight collectors. So let me tell you about something that has greatly improved my life recently. In January 2022, two brothers called Fabian and David decided to quit their jobs and burn their savings to focus on a problem that was too gruesome to ignore. They saw the attention economy taking over, keeping us constantly busy, robbing us of valuable time to think, reflect, and grow. We saw more and more people being stressed out, nervous, anxious, restless, unhappy about how they spend their time, and they felt that they had the answer. These two brothers created Napkin, an app that I've been using for the past 6 months. Literally all the news and all the info in this video I collected through Napkin by selecting relevant text, right-clicking, and then choosing Send to Napkin. It does far more than just that. It analyzes all the ideas you send to it and makes connections between them. It provides you with a very quick daily digest every day, where you get a general overview, hitting on every subject that you've been interested in the past. With Napkin, and I found this out very quickly when I used it, 2 clicks is all you need. It literally takes no time. You just get to keep memory of the stuff that you see in everyday life that you think is worth keeping. And then you get to review it in a fun and effortless way. And I'm not the only one loving this tool. Here are just 3 reviews from their website. Louis from Poon said, instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media in the morning, Napkin provides introspection. It keeps me grounded and prepared for the day ahead. Sean for Dagsboro says, Napkin's daily flow is a personally curated inspiration coach in my pocket, and I love it. It keeps me inspired and creative. Dave from Lisbon says, the joy of rediscovering forgotten quotes is magical. Back to my personal experience with Napkin, it just makes me feel like I'm on top of the mountain looking at other people who are just in the valley, diving headfirst into piles of information that they'll never remember without a clue as to how to organize it. And if you want to attain this level of mental clarity and serenity about the future in an age of AI chaos, I feel like you should check out the link in the description. So now that that's over, let's get back to the pattern that I was talking about. The obvious thing to notice is Famous people, important people, rich people, powerful people are pretty into AI, and anybody else actually doesn't like it. Who's right? The important people are obviously biased, and they're also comfortable, so they're not as likely to feel threatened and see the bad things in new introductions of technology. But the people who push back against it are also kind of disconnected from the future because basically they don't like it because it's new, but they'll get used to it, even though currently there's pushback. And for the celebrities, I can't help but notice how out of touch from everyday life their attempts at using AI is, and how much they seem to lack originality in their usage of the tools. AI tools that they make or arts that they make using AI doesn't seem to garner much attention, it doesn't bring them much success. But the revolutionary and interesting uses of AI aren't the ones that we're seeing coming from the top dogs right now, who are too disconnected and have too lazy an approach to using AI. The real AI driven innovation will come, as always, from those who are on the way up and have a connection to reality. But these high level people are right about at least one thing: AI is going to have an impact. On a more general level, it seems artists are torn between two opinions. On the one hand, there are those who believe AI is a fluke and will not stay, either obliterated by copyright laws or not actually usable in industry. Then there are those who say that the future is AI and begin to experiment with it massively. But there are some among us who do not want to bury our heads in the sand, but also do not want to give up on real, traditional, soul expanding art. This is our position on this channel. AI art is here to stay, but it will occupy a precise position in the world of art. Outside of its capabilities, we traditional artists will still be free to innovate and create. What are AI's capabilities, and how can we go beyond them as artists, is what I've set out to find out on this channel. Using my skills in AI research and art, as well as fantastic help from people who leave comments on these videos, we are slowly AI-proofing our artistic approach and freeing our minds to focus on the most important parts: self-expression and self-overcoming with authenticity. Now, today I went more into news and pop culture stuff happening, but the profound events and influential changes happen deep within, in the quiet glory of hard work and lengthy reflection. For this reason, most of my videos go more in depth, and I often extrapolate on how the current situation is likely to evolve, based on my knowledge of both AI and art. If you want to safeguard your artistic future against the looming AI threats, subscribing to the Art Post AI channel is a pretty good idea. So I guess I'll see you guys next time.